Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters. Let me ask you, when the night is darkest, where does your heart turn? When your soul whispers that it cannot bear another day, do you believe that joy still has permission to live in you? We live in a world that tells us happiness is something we earn, something we achieve only if life is smooth, if dreams align, if people don't disappoint. But I want you to hear this today: happiness is not a destination reserved for the comfortable. It is a refuge the believer builds within, so that even when storms come, the heart remains a sanctuary. Today I will share with you a powerful reminder that joy is not stolen by hardship unless we hand it over. That light lives even in our darkest seasons, and that we can learn to stay happy, not because the world has become easy, but because our hearts have become stronger and more intimate with truth. Assalamu alaikum, my dear sisters and brothers. When the nights stretch long and heavy, and your soul wonders whether it can take another step, hear me when I say this: your heart is not made for defeat, not for permanent sorrow. There is a dignity deep within you that asks, can I still believe in joy when everything around me screams despair? Yes, you can. And your soul is worthy of light even now. We live in a world that markets happiness as a goal you reach, a trophy you lift when life obeys your will. But that is a fragile, borrowed joy. It vanishes when troubles come. True joy, the kind that sustains, is built inside. It is a stronghold, a sanctuary, something you nurture in the soil of patience, surrender, and remembrance. What does a heart in trial look like? It is weary, bruised, afraid. It looks around and sees broken promises, lost dreams, shattered plans. It counts the losses, replaying what might have been, shaming itself for what it feels. Yet that very heart, precious, wounded, also holds the capacity to rise again, to reach out, to believe, to press further into what is unseen. We must begin by acknowledging our pain, without shame, without pretense. We must allow ourselves to weep, to lament, to feel the ache behind our ribs, because to deny the wound is to delay healing. And sometimes we do not need someone's explanations or platitudes. We simply need permission to feel what is real. But then we must take a choice. Will I let this wound define me? Or will I allow it to deepen me? In this journey, the believer discovers a radical truth. Happiness is not opposed to hardship. It is not the absence of sorrow. Rather, it is a posture of the heart that learns to hold pain and hope together, like two wings on which the spirit may lift itself when earth seems too heavy to stand. To say, I feel broken, but I will not be consumed. To whisper in despair, even now, I choose to see a flicker of light. The world will tempt you to anchor your heart in what is fleeting: success, love, security, comfort. But ask yourself, how many of those can truly last? How many have slipped your grasp in seasons past? The soul that depends on them is destined for constant tremor. Instead, anchor in the eternal. Anchor in the one whose promises transcend time, whose presence is not measured by ease. He is the creator of your deepest longing. He alone can calm the storms you cannot calm yourself. When you anchor there, you gain a resilience no trial can steal. Even when life loses its contours, when the script you envisioned unravels, your heart does not collapse. Because your stability is no longer tied to outcomes. It dwells in a presence that cannot be shaken. Yes, there is wisdom in the tools the Spirit gives: gratitude, patience, surrender, remembrance. Gratitude is not denial. It is eyes that see through fog. It is identifying what remains even when so much is lost. It is whispering, thank you for the air you breathe, for a memory, a kindness, a dawn you witnessed. Through gratitude, the heart remembers that kindness still courses through the world, even when pain has a louder voice. Patience is a strength uncelebrated. It is enduring the unseen. It is believing that your story is still being written, even if the pages now look blank. Every moment of waiting is a chance for your character to grow, for your trust to deepen, for you to become someone stronger than the trial itself. And surrender, this is the most delicate of all. To surrender is not to permit injustice, not to resign meekly. It is to release your grip on what was never meant for you to steer alone. It is to open your hand, saying, I trust you even when I cannot see the horizon. In that letting go, the spirit is freed from a suffocating grasp over things beyond its reach. It is saying, I pray for change, but if you choose otherwise, grant me peace. Therein lies a serenity unshaken by external shifts. Remembrance is the sustenance of the heart. It is the turning, time and again, to the divine despite fatigue. It is prayer when your tongue trembles. It is seclusion even in chaos. It is whispering over and over, "Oh, you who knows me better than I know myself, hold me." When everything wobbles, remembrance is your anchor. In the darkest nights, reciting God's names, reminding your soul of His mercy. These are how small vessels carry immense weight. Know this: your suffering does not mean you have failed. It is not a verdict. The one who sees every hidden valley in your heart notices your tears. He measures the weight of your silence, and He is nearer than your breath. Even when you feel lost, even when despair's voice shouts louder than hope, He has not turned away. That is a truth you may not feel, but lean into it anyway. Let me tell you something intimate. When life uproots you, you might feel disoriented, hollow, untethered. You may ask, where is meaning now? Where is purpose? What am I to believe when my dreams lie in rubble? In those seasons, refuse the lie that God has forgotten you. In the void, cling to the spark, a whisper, a memory, a longing, and fan it with trust. The darkest nights birth the brightest stars. You may walk through days when joy feels distant. But what if joy is not a guest who waits to be invited when all is well, but a resident you build stone by stone, even in rubble? What if your heart, however fragile, can grow roots so deep they draw from unseen springs? That is the hope I hand you today, that your heart can heal, and it can rise greater than its fractures. So when despair looms and the path ahead trembles, you will do this: you will breathe, you will remember, you will choose courage smaller than the fear. You will affirm, however quietly, I will keep walking. You will sow gratitude in barren fields. You will whisper prayers not because you know all the answers, but because you believe the one you call is listening. You are not defined by the strongest trial, nor by the worst hour you endured. You are defined by the one who knew you before your pain, who holds your story through broken pages, who is writing a redemption far beyond your vision. Let your heart rest in that dependency, not because life is easy, but because your reliance is not on the easy, it is on the eternal. So rise, for your heart deserves to smile again. Even in this moment, let it find a flicker of hope. Even when tears are close, let your lips whisper gratitude. Even when the wind threatens to extinguish your flame, fan it with trust. Because sometimes what we call surviving is really a stage before the miracle. You will press on, slow or fast but steady. You are worthy of light. You are worthy of peace. And though life may not bow to your will, your heart may yet bow to the one whose mercy is wider than the heaviest burdens. May your heart soften where it has hardened. May your spirit open where you have closed. May joy, quiet and deep, find refuge in your being, and may you walk forward, bolder, richer, more alive than before. There are moments in life when you wake up, and the weight of the world feels heavier than your chest can hold. You look around and everything seems dim. The laughter of others sounds distant. The dreams you once carried seem far away, and even hope feels like a stranger you once knew but can't recognize anymore. And in those moments, you begin to ask yourself, how do I stay happy when my heart feels so tired? How do I keep faith when everything around me feels uncertain? Happiness, my dear soul, is not something you chase. It's something you uncover beneath the layers of fear, expectation, and illusion that this world wraps around your heart. The truth is, life was never meant to be free of pain. It was meant to teach us through it. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer is not a punishment. It's a redirection. It's a divine hand turning us back toward what is real, what lasts, what fills. When everything feels hard and your chest feels hollow, that is not the end of your story. That is the space where transformation begins. It's in that emptiness that your soul begins to whisper again, asking to be refilled, but not with what the world offers. The world teaches us to seek happiness in people, possessions, and recognition. But what happens when those things slip away? When the person you love leaves? When success doesn't arrive? When your plans collapse in front of you? The heart that depends on the temporary will always break with it, but the heart that learns to anchor in the eternal will always rise again. There is something deeply sacred about struggle. It reveals to us what we truly depend on. It strips away our false securities and exposes the fragile walls we build around ourselves. When everything you rely on is shaken, that's when you begin to see what remains unshakable. It's only in losing what you thought you needed that you realize what you actually need. The connection that can never be taken away. The connection with the one who never leaves, never changes, never forgets. There is a verse that says, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Not after hardship, but die with it." That means in the same moment you are breaking, you are also being built. In the same breath you cry, there is a quiet form of healing being written within you. It's hard to see it when you're in the middle of it, but the truth is, growth and pain are inseparable. You cannot reach the mountaintop without first climbing through the valley. When life feels unbearable, remember it's okay to pause. It's okay to rest your heart, to cry, to say, "I don't know what comes next." You don't have to be strong all the time. True strength isn't the absence of weakness. It's the courage to stand again even when you fall. It's allowing yourself to break, but not letting yourself stay broken. It's learning to hold your sadness with compassion, to give your soul space to breathe. The secret to happiness is not in having a perfect life. It's in finding peace with the imperfect one you have. It's not about controlling everything that happens. It's about learning to trust the one who does. There will be times when you ask for something and it's withheld from you, and you'll think you've been forgotten. But perhaps that delay is a form of mercy. Perhaps what you wanted wasn't meant to sustain your heart, but what is waiting will. Sometimes, not getting what you want is the most loving answer of all. Happiness grows when we stop trying to force life into our expectations and begin to flow with what is written. It's not passive surrender, it's active trust. It's saying, "I will do my part, I will take each step with sincerity, but I leave the outcome in hands far wiser than mine." That's where peace begins, when you stop trying to control the tide and instead learn to sail with faith. Even in darkness, there is beauty. The night sky teaches us that light doesn't disappear. It just hides to make room for the stars. In the same way, when joy feels distant, it doesn't mean it's gone. It might simply be shifting shape, teaching you to see differently, to find sweetness in prayer, meaning in stillness, and serenity in surrender. And remember, every soul has its own timeline. Don't rush your healing. Don't compare your path with others. The flower that blooms in spring is no more valuable than the one that blooms in winter. They just have different seasons. So be gentle with your process. Trust that even when you can't see the growth, it's happening beneath the surface. Every tear is watering the roots of your strength. Every ache is shaping a softer, wiser version of you. You are not alone in your pain. There are countless hearts walking this same invisible road, each carrying their own unspoken battles. And above all of them, there is one who knows, one who listens even when words fail, one who counts your tears and responds in ways unseen. So when you feel invisible, remember you are seen. When you feel unheard, remember you are known. Sometimes happiness is not loud. It doesn't always come as laughter or sunshine. Sometimes it's quiet. It's the calm that follows after you've cried. It's the deep breath that says, "I survived another day." It's the simple moment you look up at the sky and whisper, "I still believe." So yes, life is hard. There will be storms, there will be heartbreaks, there will be moments you can't understand. But none of it is meaningless. Every drop of pain, every moment of confusion, it all belongs to a greater design that is shaping you, refining you, and bringing you closer to what's real. You were not created to be crushed by life. You were created to learn from it, to rise through it, to illuminate others with the light you found in your darkness. And that light, it doesn't come from escaping hardship. It comes from walking through it with faith. So when you can't see the path ahead, trust the one who lit the stars. When you don't feel strong enough to stand, know that being held by him is stronger still. When the world feels heavy, whisper a prayer, not for the burden to disappear, but for your heart to expand enough to carry it with grace. Because true happiness is not found in the absence of pain, it's found in the presence of purpose. And no matter how difficult life becomes, there will always be something to thank him for, something to hold on to, something to remind you that even here, even now, there is beauty, there is mercy, and there is hope. So take heart, you are still on your way. And even if today feels heavy, the dawn always comes, it always comes. There comes a time in every soul's journey when the world begins to feel unbearably heavy. You wake up and realize that what once brought you joy now feels distant. You pray, yet your heart feels quiet. You smile, but deep down you ache. And somewhere in that silence, you begin to ask yourself, is it possible to stay happy when everything hurts? Can my heart still find light when the world around me is dim? The truth is, happiness was never promised to us as a life without pain. It was never meant to be the absence of struggle. Real happiness is not about everything being perfect. It's about being able to find peace even in the imperfection. It's about being able to breathe even when the air feels thick with grief. It's about trusting that there is meaning behind every hardship, even when your eyes cannot yet see it. Sometimes life breaks us in ways we didn't imagine. The people we counted on leave. The dreams we worked for collapse. The plans we held so tightly begin to fall apart in front of us. In those moments, we feel stripped, bare, fragile, uncertain. But perhaps that's exactly where our rebuilding begins. Because often, it's in the breaking that the soul begins to truly see. You see, we were never meant to build our happiness on what fades. The things of this world, its pleasures, its relationships, its comforts, they are gifts, but not anchors. They are temporary blessings, not eternal foundations. When we place our happiness in them, we make our peace dependent on something that can be taken away. And that's why we fall apart so easily when life shifts, because our hearts were attached to something transient. But when the heart begins to learn that true happiness is rooted not in what is fleeting, but in the one who never leaves, everything changes. Suddenly, loss does not destroy you. It humbles you. Disappointment does not define you. It refines you. The same pain that once crushed you begins to carve within you a deeper space for peace, for wisdom, for connection with the divine. There is a quiet strength that grows in the heart that surrenders. Surrender is not giving up. It is handing over what you cannot control to the one who already knows what's best for you. It is whispering through tears, I don't understand, but I trust you. It is releasing your grip on what is gone and allowing your hands to open, to receive what is coming. When you surrender, you are not weaker, you are wiser. Because you have understood that peace doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from trusting the one who controls it. When you look back at your hardest seasons, you may realize something profound. That the moments which nearly broke you were also the moments that built you. They forced you to reach for something higher, something beyond the visible. They stripped you of illusions, of false dependencies, of shallow definitions of happiness. They brought you closer to truth, closer to yourself, and closer to the one who never left even when everyone else did. Happiness, at its essence, is not loud. It doesn't always come with laughter or perfect days. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's just the gentle knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. It's the moment you realize that even your pain has purpose. It's when your heart whispers, I'm still grateful. It's when you can cry and still say, Alhamdulillah. When life is hard, the heart learns patience. It learns gratitude. It learns faith. Every trial you go through is not meant to punish you. It's meant to purify you. It's meant to bring you back to what really matters. The fire you're in right now is shaping you into someone stronger, softer, and more aware. And though it may hurt, you will emerge with a light that can only be born from darkness. There's a misconception that happy people are those who have no struggles. But the truth is, the happiest souls are often the ones who've walked through the most pain and still choose to smile. They've learned that joy is not dependent on circumstance. It's a decision, a perspective, a faith. They've learned that when life gets dark, the light within must shine brighter. So if your heart feels heavy today, if you are tired and uncertain, know that you are not alone. There are countless hearts walking a similar road, each fighting silent battles, each seeking peace. And above all of them, there is one who knows, one who sees, one who has promised that with every hardship comes ease. Not after it, but with it. That means that in your pain, ease is already written. In your tears, healing has already begun. In your waiting, blessings are quietly forming. You may not see it yet, but every hardship carries within it a seed of mercy. And so, choose today, just one small thing, choose to hope. Choose to trust even when you don't understand. Choose to keep your heart soft when life tries to harden it. Choose to look for the small joys that still exist. The sound of rain, the warmth of a sunrise, the comfort of prayer, the simple gift of being alive. Sometimes, happiness is found in the smallest moments, the ones we overlook while waiting for bigger miracles. But the truth is, life itself is the miracle, and the one who gave you life has not forgotten you. He hears your whispers in the dark. He knows what weighs on your heart, and he is closer to you than you think. So, don't give up when life feels difficult. Don't let despair convince you that you are defeated. Even if all you can do is breathe through the pain, even if all you can do is whisper a prayer through tears, that's enough. Because sometimes faith doesn't look like perfect peace. Sometimes it looks like trembling, but still standing. Sometimes it looks like breaking, but still believing. And maybe that's the truest form of happiness. To be able to find peace in the middle of chaos, to be able to smile through tears, to be able to trust even when nothing makes sense. That kind of happiness doesn't fade when life gets hard. It doesn't depend on what happens outside. It flows from what's been planted inside. So, even when the road feels long, even when the night feels endless, remember that dawn always comes. The pain you feel now will one day become the strength you stand upon. The tears you shed today will water the seeds of tomorrow's joy. Hold on, you are being shaped, not shattered. You are being refined, not forgotten. You are being prepared for something more beautiful than what was lost. Keep your heart open. Keep your faith alive, because happiness is not at the end of the journey. It's found in every step you take with trust, even through the storm. So let me leave you with this reminder. Your heart has permission to smile, even if your circumstances do not. The storms around you do not have to drown your inner world. You can rise with humility, rise with patience, rise with the knowledge that God writes with crooked lines, and sometimes in the spiral is the miracle. Don't ever believe that this life is meant to break you beyond repair. No. The one who created you is more invested in your healing than the world is in your success. If you feel wounded, remember sometimes the deepest growth begins in the pain. Sometimes the brightest light emerges from the deepest dark. So choose today, in whatever state you are, to hope, to trust, to lean, to believe that even now you are worthy of joy. May your heart be sheltered, may your eyes be raised to the skies, and may you emerge from every trial not hollow, but radiant with a deeper light than before. Assalamu alaikum, and may peace dwell in your heart always.